But let's get into this. This is what, like a minute and 12 seconds long. Let's hear Larry fumble over his key talking point about fatherlessness, and not have an answer to it.
You're talking about that there's this epidemic in the Black community of fatherlessness. What have you done to combat fatherlessness in the Black community?
Okay, so you're accepting that we have an issue with fatherlessness in the Black community. You're accepting that, I assume.
I'm not. You said that.
I didn't think so. So you're not accepting it, and you're asking me, what am I doing about something that you don't accept?
No, you're my question is clear as day. Is that have you not done anything to combat fatherlessness?
You just now acknowledged, in your opinion, that what I just now said isn't even a problem.
Larry, please answer. What have you done to combat fatherlessness?
I'm waiting for Rachel to answer my question. Then I'll respond.
I've already answered that question.
So you want me to respond to a problem? Answer
Larry,
it's your campaign, Larry. Larry, this is your campaign. Your campaign.
Can you stop this for a second?
About father.
Yeah.
He doesn't believe that white supremacy exists, but his existence is literally supposed to be some type of response to the fact that white supremacy doesn't exist.
That's wild. If it doesn't exist, what are you responding to?
Right. White supremacy doesn't exist. So why do you make any of the content that you make, Larry? By your logic, by your own logic.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Larry, this is your campaign. Your campaign is about fatherlessness. I'm giving you the floor to talk about how you have combat fatherlessness because you say it is such an issue in this country and you don't want to answer the question.
I'm happy to answer the question, provided that you acknowledge that there is a problem.
Larry, get the fuck out of here.
That was literally how they ended the podcast.
That was a great way to end that, like right before the end of that TikTok video.
Yeah, man, that was literally how that conversation ended too. If you go back and actually watch that conversation, it literally ended like that. And literally, he was like, "Man, Larry, get the F out of here." All right, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. But it what that goes to show, man, is that whole, because him, Officer Tatum, all the Black conservatives, the one that tap dance, for the Mzungu, they love that talking point about fatherlessness in the Black community, and they use that as a talking point to dismiss white supremacy, to dismiss racism, to dismiss disparities that exist between Black and white Americans, by way of literally 300 years in between slavery and Jim Crow, of political and economic violence that created the disparities. You get what I'm saying? How you dismiss that all away is by saying, oh, well, look at the fatherlessness is so high. In 1970, it was only 30%, and now it's 70%. And when you have this level of fatherlessness, you're going to expect more crime, more poverty, more this, more that, da-da-da-da-da. And if this is true to the degree that you say is true, and you parrot this so much, why haven't you taken any initial steps to actually combat it? And even if you haven't, that's okay. I'll even give Larry that pass. But just tell me what you're going to do about it, since you keep bringing it up. And the fact that you can't even tell me what you can do about it, I'm giving you a pass. But tell me how you're going to legislate this now, since you're running for president. And you can't tell me. That just goes to show that the whole talking point is BS.
Right.
It's BS.
And a lot of times, if you do believe a problem exists and you're having a conversation about it, and somebody else may not see the problem that you're discussing, if you discuss your interventions or your remedies to the problem, and you can show how what you've done has actually created change, the fact that you've done an action and change has been created may make it more obvious for that person who doesn't believe the problem exists to say, you know what? Okay, I see what you did and how you addressed that. Maybe there is an issue because of how the environment reacted to what you did. So it's still important for you to explain, even if Rachel didn't see it, maybe something that Larry Elder had done might have had an effective action reaction. You see what I'm saying? Or a response to his action. Like, I've implemented these teaching materials, and at this school that I teach at, the teen pregnancy rate decreased 10%. Along with the teen pregnancy rate decreasing 10%, crime decreased 5%. You know what I'm saying? You can show causal and you can show causal and cause effect relationships based on action and response. So then maybe Rachel could take that information and be like, okay, well, maybe your actions are showing that there is some type of correlation between these issues. Larry Elder just wasn't willing to answer the question, because when people aren't willing to answer the question, it's because they don't have an answer. And Larry Elder didn't have an answer.
None at all.
You know what I'm saying?
None at all. Because it once again, you know, this isn't an actual serious point of concern for him anyways, as it pertains to, you know, Black Americans. It's just an easy way to dismiss black and white relations, you know, historically and present, as it pertains to racism, disparities, systemic discrimination, so on and so forth. It's just an easy dismissal tool.